The coronavirus epidemic that started in China last year continues to spread around the world. 4 new countries have reported new cases of coronavirus. North Macedonia, Brazil, Norway, Georgia have all found coronavirus cases on their soil. Meanwhile, Italy, Iran and South Korea have emerged as new hotbeds of the virus. The latest information we are getting, the head of China's COVID-19 expert team has claimed that it will contain the coronavirus epidemic by the end of April. So, will the country actually be able to do it is anybody's guess. However, new cases in China seem to be declining. China has reported 29 more deaths in 24 hours, the lowest daily death toll figure in almost a month, and the number of infections rose slightly. China's National Health Commission said there were 433 new confirmed cases as of today. And as of new cases, 409 were in Hubei province, the epicenter of the outbreak. 26 of the 29 deaths were in Hubei. That brings the country's total to 78,497 infected cases and 2,744 deaths due to COVID-19. Meanwhile, South Korea has the highest number of coronavirus cases outside mainland China. It has confirmed a surge of 334 more cases in 24 hours, bringing the country's total to 1,595. The number is the largest reported additional cases in South Korea since its first case was informed on the 20th of January. The United States State Department has issued a new travel advisory for South Korea. The State Department raised its travel advisory from level 2 to level 3, which means reconsider travel. The decision was made after Seoul declared its highest severe alert over the virus. The United States and South Korean military has also postponed forthcoming joint exercises due to the coronavirus outbreak. The decision to delay the training was made after a United States soldier stationed in South Korea was infected with the virus on Wednesday. Both the militaries have confirmed postponement until further notice. The United States has 28,500 troops in South Korea to protect it against the nuclear-armed North, many of them based in Seoul of South Korea. We are now being joined by Bruce Harrison live, who's joining us live from Seoul, South Korea. Bruce, the number of infected cases in China slightly decreasing, but South Korea has emerged as the new hotbed of the coronavirus outbreak as far as Asia is concerned.
That's right, and we're going to see those numbers rise, especially from today, because the government's embarking on its track and test plan to try and identify patients who've contracted the disease and begin treating them as soon as possible. It's starting with members of the Shincheonji Church, which has a branch in Daegu and is one of the 2 areas there that have the most confirmed cases. It's believed that a congregant of that church went and spread it to other members, and then it just kind of spread like wildfire. So from today, they're going to be testing 1,300 members of the 9,000-member congregation in Daegu. The government is preparing extra hospital beds because they believe they're going to find a lot of positive tests and need to start treating people immediately. Some reports indicate the numbers could climb as high as 10,000 as this testing period goes on. And it won't just be isolated to Daegu in the southeast and North Gyeongsang province. It will be nationwide as they track different members of this church, which has a membership of more than 200,000 here in South Korea.
Absolutely, Bruce. China has been battling the coronavirus for long. South Korea has just become a hotbed for the outbreak, but it's quickly spreading to other parts of the world, isn't it? Iran is a major hotbed of the coronavirus. Italy has become a major hotbed of outbreak as far as Europe is concerned. Now, 4 new countries have reported outbreaks, which include Brazil in South America, which include Georgia, North Macedonia, and Norway as well. So there's a fear that the coronavirus may soon become a global epidemic.
That's what we're hearing from certain experts. That fear is real, especially as we see it leapfrog between different countries. South Korea still by far has the most cases confirmed outside of mainland China. And South Korea, like some of these other countries that are now experiencing major growth in confirmed cases of coronavirus, what they're doing is kind of giving themselves a time frame to bring this under control. Seoul, for example, the central government has says within the next 4 weeks it wants to bring containment, bring the virus under control, contain it, and then focus on mitigation when it comes to patients that have tested positive, treating the illness. Will they be able to keep to that timeline? Will other countries be able to keep to their timelines as they're seeing higher numbers? It's unclear. It took China a solid month before they started saying, hey, look what's happening outside of Hubei province. The daily confirmed case rate is falling. It's starting to fall in Hubei now. Did it reach actually a plateau? We can't say that yet. There still could be another spike even in China. But South Korea is hoping to reach that period that China may have experienced where you see the numbers start to fall. And really what it comes down to is throwing a lot of government money at it. South Korea is looking to create an extra emergency budget to help the local economy, keep people comfortable while this takes place, and also bolster medical support here to try and contain the virus and treat the sick.
Absolutely, Bruce. China has said that they will hope to get the outbreak under control by the end of April, and we hope that Chinese authorities are correct in their assessment of their fight against the coronavirus. Meanwhile, we are also learning that the United States has issued an advisory to anyone traveling to South Korea amid the outbreak. Also, what can you tell us about the military exercises? Clearly, United States administration is very worried about the outbreak in South Korea because they have postponed their military joint exercise with the South Korean military as well.
This is a joint decision by both the Republic of Korea military as well as the United States. They decided it's best to postpone to prevent the further spread of the virus among their troops. Both South Korean and U.S. soldiers have tested positive for the virus. Roughly 20 in the South Korean forces, one U.S. soldier who's now being quarantined, self-quarantined at his home off base. And they just decided it wasn't worth the risk as this outbreak rages here in South Korea. The exercise in question, called Dongmeng, is largely computer simulated, so there's no field maneuvers. If it was what it used to be up until 2018, there would be an even higher risk of spreading among both South Korean and U.S. forces. But as we know, in 2018, that was the last time they did what was called Full Eagle. It was a much larger scale exercise, but as peace talks with North Korea were playing out back then, they decided to scale it down to try and appease North Korea. And unfortunately, we know today that progress Seoul and Washington hoped to make with the North didn't happen.
Bruce Harrison, I'd like to thank you for joining us on WION with all the latest updates as far as the outbreak in South Korea especially is concerned. We'll keep coming back to you for more.